Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here, and welcome to the first stream live of Gate-Away. We hope this is only the first one of a very long series, if you like. As many of you know, Gate-Away is the leading property portal dedicated to Italian property listed for overseas buyer. And our mission has always been to provide the best properties for sale in Italy, but also the most reliable and the best source of information about Italy and its buying process. So this live stream, or this program about live stream that we would like to start from today goes on that direction. So we hope you enjoy. We hope you will find all the information you were looking for. And with this live stream, we start with a subject that we think is going to be very interesting for you, especially in this period of pandemic, worldwide pandemic disaster, which we all hope will end soon. But will be very useful also afterwards, after the coronavirus has ended, because can be used every time, and every time you cannot come physically to Italy to make the final deed to end the procedure of buying a process. The subject is actually how to buy a home in Italy from your home and sitting comfortably on your sofa from your home. And to help doing that, we have a lawyer, which is Manlio Gervasi, which will lead us through all the process and all the procedure. And thank you for being here, Manlio, and welcome to this live broadcast. And can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do and how you can help us?
Thank you, Simone. Good morning or good afternoon to everyone who attend this meeting, wherever you are. I'm Manlio Gervasi. I'm an English-speaking real estate lawyer, and I help people and international clients in buying property in our beautiful country. Our law firm is based in South Italy, in Palermo, in Noto, Syracuse, and also Ostuni, where I'm based right now, also during this time. We also have an offices in New York and Los Angeles, and we provide legal assistance to our international clients in helping them to buy property in residential market, but also in hospitality sector. In fact, there are many companies that are interested in our beautiful country in purchasing property, hotels, or little houses, and convert them in boutique hotel. During this period, we have experienced a lot of problem with our international clients to be here, to attend to the meeting, to the notary, to sign useful information, a useful deed, because the deed should be signed before in front of the notary, also with all the documentation that need to be approved to the notary. We provide also our services during all the process, from the due diligence until the purchase process. So also the due diligence is also necessary, important to establish also the price to the property, if the property has been mortgaged, and we assist all the clients during the procedure. In this way, the procedure is safe and quick as possible. Yes, okay. Simone.
Since the subject of today is how to buy a home in Italy without actually coming to Italy, is there actually a way? Is it possible to buy a home in Italy without the need of physically being here in Italy? And if it is, how it is possible?
Yes, absolutely, it's possible, because we use the international power of attorney that is the subject of today. Because you can finalize the purchase also without your presence here in Italy. Before coronavirus, we experienced and we used a lot of international power of attorney. Now that with the impossibility to travel of our clients, this international power of attorneys has been really useful, because clients cannot travel and cannot come to Italy, but we have finalized a lot of purchasing, a lot of final deed without the presence of our clients. The procedure is depends of where the client is located. But wherever the client is located, we are able to assist and provide the service that the client needs to finalize all the transaction in secure and easy and quick way.
Okay. In fact, we also at Gate-Away, we received a lot of messages of people that actually prior to the coronavirus had seen very interesting properties. They were interested in purchasing properties, but then everything locked down and they couldn't do as it was before. So we received a lot of requests on how it was possible. So that's why also we made this. We are here and discussing about this subject. So what you're saying is it is possible, and the main let's call it tool to do that is the power of attorney. Okay, which is possible to do from any country around the world, but with different procedure. Is that correct?
Yes, the procedure is really different from every country. First of all, I would like to underline that the power of attorney is a special power that the representative give to an individual or a trusted person or a lawyer to sign or to carry out some activities or activities to be done. So we recommend that the power of attorney will give to the person who normally manage the legal system, because the preliminary contract or the final deed is a legal document, really long, with a lot of documentation, a lot of articles, a lot of clauses, difficult to understand, and has to be managed with seriously in legal way. Said that, the international procedure can vary from one country to another. For example, we can give an example from European Union countries or non-European Union countries. It depends also if these specific countries take part of international treaty.
Okay. So what you're saying is, with the power of attorney, you grant the power to another person, which you should trust a lot, to represent you in Italy, and to do everything you provide this power to this person on your behalf. Is that correct?
Yes. The person that has the power to represent the person and the specific task to be on the power of attorney. One task to finalize, to sign, for example, the final deed on behalf in the name of the client, only for the specific task, as already said. Because in Italy there is the difference between general power of attorney and special power of attorney.
Okay. So there are two types of power of attorney that you can grant.
There are two types of power of attorney.
Okay.
We recommend to use the special power of attorney that the client or the person give to the power for one specific task, because the general power of attorney is represent you in general for everything. It's like an alter ego of the person. Alter ego is like in Latin, is it can do everything on your behalf. Also open a bank account, open a company, manage account, manage money, manage everything. So we suggest for a specific task, like for example, purchase a property, to have a special power of attorney.
Okay.
That means in Italy.
Okay. So you're saying if you provide general power of attorney to a person, it can do everything on your behalf. Everything. Yes. So you really need to be careful who you grant it to. And the other one is the special power of attorney. So which is that you grant power of attorney to a specific task, to a specific task, reason to do that. And once that task is accomplished, the power of attorney ends automatically. It cannot do anything else other than the specific task you said in power of attorney.
Yes, this is true, because the special power of attorney, for example, to complete, to finalize, and sign on the behalf of the clients the final deed, the power of attorney is attached at the final deed. So the power expires. So there you cannot use anymore.
Okay, so this person cannot do anything apart from that on your behalf. So what you say, you don't need to have a lawyer to do that, or there is no need for a specific professional figure to grant the power of attorney. You can do to whoever you want, a person that you trust, of course. We hope that you do that. It can be your parent, one of your parents. It can be your brother, sister, or nephew, or daughter and son, or friend. Or of course, if you don't know anyone you can really trust, there are professional figures like the attorneys or lawyers or other professional figures. Of course, a lawyer works on your side, and you can grant this power too.
Basically, it's true, but the purchase process in Italy is not impossible. It's easy if managed well.
Okay,
in the correct way. So there are necessity to have a person who represents you and assists you during the procedure, because the power of attorney can be released to everyone. There is no problem. The most important thing is that the person you trust. But if the contract and all the procedure is legal, so the problem is that everything has been to be managed by someone who understands the legal system, because the procedure is really long. Is not long, but is in Italian way is really safe. But we have to follow the right steps to complete the procedure.
I agree with you. I mean, the Italian buying procedure, of course, is different from the procedure of any other countries. That's, of course, any country has its own procedure, and but it is really safe. Once you understand all the procedure and the step you have to undertake that takes you to the final deed, is actually one of the safest buying process in the whole world. And I also read some statistics about the trial post deed that made in court end up in court, like in countries like in the US, where it's about 20-30% of the purchase end up in a court, and in Italy it's about 0.2% of the deeds that end up in court for disputes between the buyer and the seller. So it is very a safe procedure. Of course, you have to understand it, and you have to know all the steps you have to take. Any difference between EU and non-EU for the power of attorney, and especially now that we're coming close to the end of the year, and we're about to face Brexit. Will it be any difference between also before the 31st of December 2020 and the day after, once Brexit comes to place, and difference between EU and non-EU countries?
Yes, there are some difference. In some European Union countries, like for example France, Belgium, and Latvia, the notaries in that countries take part of international notaries agreement. In this case, there is no need of notarization and legalization of the power of attorney, and the power of attorney stipulated in front of a notary in France, for example, does not need a legalization in Italy. In other European Union countries like Germany or Czech Republic, there is a special procedure to take that is international procedure, and legalization signature in front of the notary, apostille to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the legalization in Italy. In Brexit, with the Brexit at 31 December, there is no any affecting on the international power of attorney only for this way. Obviously, there will be an impact on the personal status of the British people to move in the Schengen area, basically. But for the international power of attorney, there is no any difference. Only the personal status that really affected the British.
Okay, so with Britain, before and after, before Brexit and after Brexit, that there will be any difference for the power of for the procedure to get the power of attorney. Okay. For all the rest, we still wait that they will find an agreement, which of course we hope they will find it. And for all the other countries, so what you're saying is make sure that you double check with your own country what's the real procedure between Italy and your own country. So you can do that with any lawyer, with any attorney. Of course, I think any notary should know how to grant the power, how to the procedure for power of attorney in Italy. But of course, if you find an international notary, probably he will know better.
Yeah, this is the problem. The problem is that the professional should be or should know the international procedure, international law. This is the problem, because also me in the normal practice, I need problem with my colleague, with notaries, with banks, with financial institutions that doesn't know the international procedure, but after we explain the procedure, that everything is legal, there is no problem to have international power of attorney issued in California, for example, and having legal effect here in Italy, basically.
Okay. Does it make any difference if you are a dual citizen or if you have an Italian passport?
There is a difference because should be much easier to have a power of attorney, because in Italian embassy and Italian embassy, Italian consulates provide assistance to Italians, only citizens. In this case, an Italian should go to the Italian consulate and have the power of attorney before the consulate.
Okay, so you say if you have an Italian passport, it's easier for you because you don't have to go to the notary. You can go to the Italian embassy or the Italian consulate. So they will. Well, actually, it's not that you don't have to go to the notary. It's that you can go to the Italian consulate or the Italian embassy, and they will explain everything because you are an Italian citizen.
Well, this is true. This is true, but it depends that also Italian consulate have a lot of work to do. So you are in a waiting list to make an appointment. And for example, in my experience, also if we have clients in USA, we don't need to go to the Italian consulate because we waste time. We use the international procedure, and we get the international power of attorney, for example, in America, between 2 at least 4 weeks, and we have the international power of attorney in Italy. Maybe with Italian consulate, this is more time, but
okay, it takes more time to go through Italian. Okay, maybe it depends who you find in the Italian embassy. Let's say that not everyone is the same. Okay, so let's make a kind of real example. Let's say I'm, I don't know, a non-Italian buyer of any country. I saw a property that I really like. I visited like physically, so I'm really intended to buy it, but I cannot come for any reason. I don't know. I'm from Australia. I'm from New Zealand, so I come from the other side of the globe. And it takes me time. I cannot come to Italy for whatever reason. What's all the process to buy a house in Italy with the power, using the power of attorney?
Yes, this is, as I already said, we used power of attorney before coronavirus, but more now for the reason that the clients or buyers cannot travel.
Exactly. Sorry, Manlio, let me underline this. This is not something that come out with the coronavirus. It's always been there for decades. I don't know how long has it been there that you can buy a house with the power of attorney. It's something that is come to let's say fashion. It's come to be very useful now that no one can move around outside of the country, or it's difficult to move around the country, but it's been there for a long time. Sorry to interrupt you. You can.
No problem. So we normally we have many Zoom call with the clients, understanding their needs. After we understand where is located, the client is located, we choose the national procedure. We take immediate contact with the other estate agent, if there is a estate agent, or directly with the vendors. Or it happens that also the clients have seen the virtual tour with the estate agent, choose the house without being here in any time, and we start the procedure. So, for example, if the client is located in the USA, in California, for example, we issue the international power of attorney. We make contact immediately with the notary here in Italy, where the property is located. For example, in Puglia, in Ostuni. I'm here, for example, for the moment. In this city. We contact immediately the estate agent, the vendor, and also the notary. We all together. We choose the procedure, our law firm. We exchange the opinion with the notary to be on the same way, and we send via mail the power of attorney to the client. We make also contact with the notary in the USA, for example, in this country or another country in the world, whatever, and we explain to the notary our needs, the signature to be done, and also the procedure, because every country has the office to legalize and to make the apostille on the power of attorney. When the clients go to the notary, make the apostille, if the country take part of the apostille treaty, the client send back to us the original power of attorney, and when we receive it in Italy, we provide legalization, translation, to provide legal effects here in Italy, and having the international power of attorney that can be used here in Italy, have a perfect legal effect. In this way, the client, without moving from the sofa, can buy a home.
Okay, so with the power, once you do that, you give the power to this person to act on your behalf. We know that to buy a property in Italy, there are a few steps you have to take. That's in general. It doesn't make any change, if I'm correct. It doesn't make any change in the procedure if you buy with the power of attorney, or if you come to Italy and buy on your own. I mean, the only difference is that instead of you, there is another person with the power of attorney. But all the rest of the procedure is absolutely the same, isn't it? If you do the proposal, if you do the preliminary contract, you go to the notary, you have to sign the final deed, you have to make the payments. Everything, all the steps are the same. The difference is that there is another person doing on your behalf that you granted the power to do that too.
Yes, this is true. But also, if the clients can travel to Italy, also for the signature in front of the notary for the final deed, is always recommended to have an attorney that represents you on your behalf. Because there are some pitfalls to avoid.
Let's cover also the pitfall that you might avoid. But one thing I would like to underline is that, as you said, it is recommended to have an attorney in Italy, but it's not mandatory, because the Italian buying procedure um, it's not mandatory to have an attorney, because there is the role of the state agent. Also, if you want to buy privately, you can buy it privately and make an agreement between the private parties, the buyer and the seller. Or there is the state agents, which of course we also advise to go through the state agents, which mediate between the parties, between the buyer and the seller. So that's why in Italy, the estate agents are called mediator, because they mediate. There is no one working only for the buyer or only for the seller. And that's why it is advisable, but it's not mandatory, but it is advisable that you hire a lawyer or an attorney, because that would be the one working only for your side. Because the estate agents, which makes a great work, and especially if you find a very professional one, they're really good in Italy, but works for both parties, or mediates the parties between the buyer and the seller. Is that correct, Manlio?
That is correct.
Okay.
The estate agent find the property that you love to buy, no? But also the notary in general is in the purchase process is the arbitrator to guarantee both parties, vendor and seller. But the notary, what he can do is that the property can be sold.
Yes.
But if the client hire a lawyer, the client knows that the interests are safeguarded.
Yes.
So
What you're saying is that the notary arrives at the very end of the process and makes sure that everything is, let's say, legally correct to close the deal.
Not legally correct. If he checks only that the house, the property can be sold.
Okay, the papers.
The papers. They say
okay.
the papers.
Okay, so he makes sure that all the papers are fine.
Before you arrive to the notary, there is negotiation with the owners, a lot of clauses to checks, title of deeds, negotiation with the owners, timing. There are a lot of things to be carried out that should be really careful checks before any investments.
Of course. So let's recap the buying process. So I find a house that I like, and I don't have to, but I usually make an official proposal to buy the property. And that bear in mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, bear in mind that in Italy, the proposal is mandatory. So once you make an official proposal to the buyer, and he agrees with the proposal that you do, then you are binded to buy the property. Is that correct?
Yes, if there is a proposal and if there is the acceptance of the owner,
exactly.
This is a clause that the price is agreed between the parties. During and after that, there is what we suggest, the due diligence to be carried out on the property.
Before doing that, of course, because once you make the proposal and the seller agrees the proposal, you are both binded. The buyer is bounded to buy, and the seller, of course, is bounded to sell it to you. And he cannot sell it to anyone else. Otherwise, he lose not only the deposit that you give, but also has to give you the same amount to you as the deposit.
Well, wait. The buyer will lose the deposit if he does not decide to sign the final deed. Only the deposit. The owner in Italy, if does not agree to sign or to not sell anymore the property to the seller, lose the double. But
gives back the deposit plus the same amount.
This is the double. The deposit plus the double, the equal sum, the equal total.
Okay. After the proposal, there is the compromesso. There is if you want to do that, it's not a mandatory step, is it?
It's not a mandatory step to have the preliminary contract, but it depends on the situation. Any situation is different by any others. Okay. So the situation is different. Also, the timing is important. if there is a preliminary contract. In this case, if the client is abroad, for the signature can be different option to have the legal effect the preliminary contract signed if the client is abroad. There is if there is a release of a power of attorney, a person or individual or a lawyer can sign on the behalf of the client, pay the deposit, and have a preliminary contract.
Okay. And after that, after a certain time that you decide that you agree on the preliminary contract and everything, there is the final deed.
Yeah.
In front of the notary, which is either with you in front of, with the buyer in front of the notary, or the person, the representative, the person you gave the power of attorney to.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the payment? How it works? How you can do that?
Yes, in Italy,
especially if you give the power of attorney. So if you can't go to Italy.
Yes. For the final deed, Italian legal system is really secure and appropriate. Italian law requires that all the payment should be traceable. Okay. So there is no cash that you can pay a lot of amount to the owner. So the notary should sign, for example, the checks or the cashier checks at the moment of the final deed, and also bank transfer. But the problem here at this time is that if you pay via bank transfer the owner, probably the owner, we don't know if appears in front of the notary at the time of the signature. So there is, according to Italian system, there are two ways: or issue a cashier check through a bank account, through the bank account of the client in Italy, or through an escrow account to your lawyer or to the notary.
Okay.
That if the lawyer, the lawyer can issue a check cashier on the behalf of the clients, a pay on behalf of the clients to the owner, or to the bank transfer to the notary in an escrow account, and the notary, after the signature, after reading all the contract, that is a really, really large contract, a lot of documentation also to be attached, wire the amount to the owner.
Okay, so let me recap shortly. What you advise is that don't pay the deposit directly to the owner, because you never know. It might not appear in front of the notary at the end of the deal.
Sorry. The deposit during the preliminary contract, you should
yeah,
to the owner.
Okay, so the payment for the house, for the final deed. For the final deed, sorry, you meant that. I meant that, but I say it differently. But there are other different ways. Either you pay to an escrow account, either to the notary or to the lawyer, or you must have a bank account. Or another possibility is to, if you have an Italian bank account, you can make the bank transfer to your own account in Italy, and then send your representative to withdraw a cashier check from the bank account. So since you mentioned
with the power of attorney.
Yes, of course, with the power of attorney. If you grant the power of attorney to your representative, then you can send a representative. Otherwise, you can go on your own.
To withdraw the power of attorney, that you need one power of attorney to go to the bank and withdraw the money, the cashier check to the beneficiary, the owner, and another one to sign the final deed, to represent the clients in front of the notary.
Okay. Oh, yes, of course. So two power of attorney, one for the cashier check and one to sign the final deed, because we don't want to give the general purpose power of attorney. We want to do the special one. So you make two.
Absolutely recommend to release a general power of attorney, but should happen. Should happen sometimes, but to release general power of attorney.
Okay, Manlio, since you mentioned having a bank account in Italy, can you quickly explain how to set up a bank account in Italy? Is it difficult for a non-Italian person, or what's the procedure?
First of all, it's not mandatory having an Italian bank account. If the person would like to transfer their residency here in Italy, need to manage a bank account in Italy, before opening a bank account, the client should have a tax identification number, that is Italian codice fiscale, and open a bank account. If he or she is not in Italy, can issue a power of attorney to open a bank account in Italy, in any banks in Italy, and after that, she or he can manage the bank account for her or his needs, basically.
Okay, and what about getting a codice fiscale? What do you have to do?
The codice fiscale is really easy. If the person is abroad, can go to the Italian consulate, make an appointment, require.
Even if you are not an Italian citizen.
If not, in this case, if not, you are not Italian citizen, you can go to Italian consulate abroad and require a fiscal tax identification number, codice fiscale. Okay. Or you can appoint, for example, the estate agent that you can open on your behalf, or our law firm, or other lawyers, or the notary. It's really easy to open the.
Okay. If you ask your estate agents, do you have to give power of attorney to open the fiscal code?
Normally, no.
Okay.
No. Only needs the original of the signature in original. The representative needs only, like a mandate, no need the power of attorney. The power of attorney needs only for some activities to be carried out in Italy, not for everything.
Okay, only for specific ones, and only, I mean, the most important ones.
Otherwise, we can say for the most important one. Okay. For example, for tax identification number, there is no need to have a power of attorney, for example.
Okay. What about, I don't know, management things? I mean, once you bought your house, then you have to sort like different things after buying, like, I don't know, paying electricity bills and everything. And you don't need the power of attorney to have someone paying the bills for you, or doing other management normal things, is it?
No.
Okay.
Only in case you would like to sell, you need the property after you need to have a power of attorney.
Of course,
again, if you want to sell. Basically, when the clients come to Italy, they never want to come back to their country because they love it.
Okay, I understand. So, what are the pitfalls we have to be careful not to fall into in all this buying process, and especially with the power of attorney, which in Italian is called procura. We say that because you might come across this name, so at least you know what it means. So power of attorney in Italian is procura.
Procura. Yes. What I said, that the procura should be released to all persons that you really trust, but you should be careful that the person, or you should release to the lawyer that is much better, that understands the legal system, knows everything about the law, because everything that accomplished is really, really important. So it needs that the power to be released to a very professional figure to carry out the activities on your behalf. So we suggest to be released to a lawyer, to other professional, but with your situation that can be managed easily, because the legal system in Italy is not complicated. It's a really safe regulatory system. We created the law with the Roman Empire. with the Roman law, but the procedure is safe also for foreigners. But it's really important that everything should be carried out to be really quickly, easy, and the most important thing is in a safe way. So there are other pitfalls, like for example to the notary for the final deed. For example, what I'm thinking is that if the clients go to the notary, the client does not speak very well Italian, the notary appoint an interpreter. An interpreter that is mandatory for the law in this case, but what important thing is to check if the interpreter is enlisted in a particular register to the court.
Okay.
But it's also important to understand if he or she knows the Italian law, because sometimes there could be an interpreter that is enlisted to the court, but he or she cannot translate the contract, the final deed in a perfect and a legal way. It should be a really difficult situation for the clients that in this case the buyer is not protected at all. This is one rule to avoid. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so as in any other country in the world, probably the spoken language is different from the legal language.
Yes. Yes.
You have to know that, because every single word has its own meaning.
The power of attorney that in my case, I also represent the clients before the final deed because they speak English. We can translate in a legal way all the final deed with all the clauses. We explain everything. In this case, the clients are really protected also in the future, because basically.
Okay. And also, as you said, once you go to the final deed in front of the notary, you are physically there. You said it's mandatory for the notary to get a translator, which has to be registered on the
court.
Exactly, on the court and everything. And also, we provide you with a translated deed. Is that correct? They will give you a translated copy of the deed. They must do that. They must do. It's mandatory. It probably is not the same if you do the power of attorney, especially if you give that to an Italian person. Probably then there is no the mandatory thing to provide a translated deed. Is that correct?
Well, normally. It depends on the situation. There is the mandatory is that the notary can sign, can finish the final deed. When there is the interpreter, the interpreter shall translate the contract. What we suggest is to check the capacity of the interpreter, that if or she knows the legal system, because a clause, a word in a legal in our world, legal is different from the common English in English common speaking. This is the situation.
Okay.
To avoid.
Okay. Before doing that, how much does it cost to have a power of attorney? Or is there, let's say, if you don't, let's say just the cost of the power of attorney. Of course, then if you hire someone like a lawyer, there is the lawyer fee or whatever. But just to do the power of attorney, does it cost anything?
Yes, because there are stamp duties, translation, everything. Is international power of attorney is around 400 euros.
Okay.
Only for our special power of attorney. The general power of attorney will cost the double, much more than that.
Okay. So the general, apart from being very dangerous, the general, it's also more costly. So you have two reasons, and more than two reasons to avoid the general power of attorney, and that includes everything to provide the power of attorney.
Yes.
Apart from the professional costs, if you are a lawyer. So if I grant the power of attorney to my brother in Italy, that will cost me about 400 euros.
Around 400 euros. Yes,
Around 400 euros. Yeah. Okay, perfect. You were saying there are other pitfalls that you can avoid. Can you make a few other examples? And then
in my professional life, there are a lot of things.
Okay, let's not cover them all.
Came across to my mind one, for example, when you sign, for example, the client signed a preliminary contract. When the client signed the preliminary contract for any buyers, sign the preliminary contract, should make a deposit. That it could be around, the owners ask 10, 20,000, 30,000 euro, 30,000. So in this case, we recommend and suggest to not have a private agreement with the vendor, but also to stipulate this preliminary contract in front of the notary.
Okay.
Because the notary has the task for the duty for the Italian law to register the preliminary contract to the public registers. In this case, the international client is duly protected in the future, because for the timing is important during the purchase process. If the preliminary contract is, for example, in December, and the final deed is for 1 year, for example, we suggest to sign the preliminary contract in front of the notary to avoid future problem with the personal status of the owner. Could happen in any time.
Okay, Manlio, if you agree, we can reply to some questions. We got a lot of questions, and I really struggle to go through them. So,
normal, I know, it's normal. But
okay.
To answer, I'm happy to help people, a client, international people to come in Italy.
Okay. Let me start with this one. It's not to you, it's to me actually, which ask, are prices in Gate-Away more expensive than properties locally? Gate-Away is not an estate agent. We actually don't sell properties, we lease properties. So the price shown on Gate-Away is the price written by the estate agents, if there is an estate agent, or the owner of that property. So we have no power on the prices. So it's what's on the market, absolutely. So sorry for replying this question, but it's just to start with the questions. Other ones ask, I saw one, sorry, give me just 1 second to go. This one. Do you need an address in Italy to open a bank account?
Yes, you need an address in Italy to open a bank account. Yes, correct.
Okay. So if you don't have a house in Italy, what kind of address you can give?
We provide this service. No, if we have the power of represent the clients, the client is domiciled to our office, and in this case, all the documentation of the bank came to our office that we can receive on behalf of our clients.
Okay, but what's the use of this address?
Because it's the legal system.
No, I understand, but what they will use it for? I mean, can you ask one of your friends? They will have any problem to provide the address to you, or
the person of cousin, parents, friends, they provide the address of the friends. Absolutely, yes.
But what is it for? Is it to receive bank email, bank mails, and everything? Just for that?
Every month, so generally the bank give you the statement according to the law, the interest rates, the deposit that you have in the bank account, the cost of the bank account, because in Italy has a cost, I think, more than other countries. This is true. But you need basically an address to when you open a bank account.
Okay, so if you provide one of your friends' address, they won't have any problem. I mean, they won't come and pick them up for any.
If they have friends, they can provide the friends.
Okay. And they are safe with providing the address on your.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Another question: you have spoken about surveyors' reports on the condition of the property. Can you cover, please? Probably it's not really your subject, but if you can provide any advice, or surveyor, who are the surveyors? The geometra makes the surveyor on the properties. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, if you explain better, the question is about the value of the property, maybe. I don't know the question, but
usually the survey is on the property is done by geometra.
Yes,
in Italy. That's the correct figure to go to if you want to make a survey of the property prior to the purchase. Linda Coiro, is the code? Sorry.
From a technical point of view, from legal point of view, because there are other checks to be carried out, another situation.
Okay, so from the technical point of view, the structure, the changes in the layout and everything, that goes with the geometra.
Or architect or engineer.
Or architect, of course, or engineer. If you need a survey, a legal survey, of course, the lawyer is the right figure. Is codice fiscale same as tax number?
Yes, it's the same. It's the same.
Too short answer. I need time to go through the comments. There you are. What's the typical fee to have a lawyer supporting for you buying a property?
Well, it depends of the purchase, if the activities to be carried out, and all the procedure to cover. It's based on the value of the property, of the purchase, basically, the fee of the lawyer.
Okay.
Should be we quote every time, but with the lawyer, the investment is always safe. You save time, and more important, you save money.
Okay, what you're saying is that it's always a great investment. It's never a waste of money.
Yes, I'm personally carried out and worked with international clients. I know the necessity to have this kind of qualified figure, preparation figure to your side, to help you, and also help the estate agent, the notary, to the activity before the final deed.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people are used to have to every day by day carry out activities with international clients. The situation can change from case by case. The situation is always different. Also with China, the procedure to getting the international approval of attorney is totally different. It is situation vary every time.
Of course. And it depends on each property. Any property has its own situation.
Each situation, yes. Each property, each situation, each conditions, and the legal checks and legal in legal way also with the contract. Because when you arrive at a contract, there are other things to check.
Of course. There are different situations. There are properties that before you buying that was sold like 10 years ago, so everything, all the documents should be okay. But other property they got inherited maybe 6 years ago from the parents to the son. Then after that they sell it. There is no registry land on the property. So all the property has its own story and needs a different situation. But I think that applies to everywhere in the world. So I don't think people should be scared of that. I think everything with different solution, with different steps to come across. But I think it's all this difficult situation will happen anywhere in the world. If you can, I don't know if you can reply to this one. What are the taxes at time of closing? A rough idea. I know that usually you should consider between 5 to 10% of the value of the property with a cost that would include notary, estate agents, and everything. Even more if the property, even more in percentage if the property it's less expensive.
Yes, sorry, Simone, but it depends also how the investment could be done, no? Because if you purchase a home in Italy as first home in Italy, you can pay less taxes. You pay normally houses, the taxes is normal. It depends also on the cadastral value of the property, of the price of the property. So it depends on this value.
It depends also on the region you buy, on the municipality, because many taxes are.
After the taxes to be paid every year change.
Okay.
Every municipality in municipalities in Italy, so different. But the taxes at the time of closing is different because of the price, because of if the person buy a first or second home in Italy, at the cadastral value of the property. So it is general. We cannot answer in general way.
Oh no, of course. It was just to give a rough idea. For 400 euros, you have the power of attorney, but then there is the person who gets this that has to pay too. If you get a professional, yes. If you get your brother, unless he asks you for the money to do that, but is that correct? Can you
if there is a friend or the person who is appointed as the representative, there is no professional fees to be paid. If the lawyer to be carry out some activities and there are some responsibilities, there is a fee to apply for, but it's not a huge amount basically.
Okay. This one, do you have a list of flow chart? I can reply to that shows the general steps of buying a property in Italy from abroad. We have a very active blog on our website, which also Manlio helped us with a post about the power of attorney. But we have a very active blog on our website where there is a lot of information. And one of my collaborators, usually Samantha Crocetti, that help us, can put in the comments the link of the blog post where we go through all the buying process in Italy, and you can go for that, or you can log on Gate-Away.com and you go to the news or blog, and you will find a lot of information about Italy, the buying procedure. It is very accurate and very active. Let me see other comments. Okay, this one is similar to the other one. What is the average cost about attorney? Oh, can you use PO Box to start bank account? Manlio.
Well, there is maybe some PO Box, no. In Italy, no.
No, you cannot.
No. Difficult to, because it's difficult to have a PO Box to start a bank account. Difficult. Maybe some banks in North Italy, but it's difficult. Basically, you need to have a power of attorney to represent and open the bank account on your behalf.
Okay. What are the service? What are service? Sorry.
Yes, because for Italian law require also anti-monetary laundering. So for this reason, there is impossible to have a PO Box.
Okay. What are the services? What services are included when I retain an attorney for the purchase?
Well, it depends of the service required.
What do you expect if you hire an attorney? What would you expect?
In fact, I'm doing an example. We suggest to hire an attorney from the due diligence and the final deed. That the service include everything: due diligence, negotiation with the owner, contact with the estate agent, closing the proposal, closing the preliminary contract, closing also the final deed. Also, during the due diligence, we carried out administrative checks. That is why, for example, you buying a property, you buy a Manlio for investment and convert in a boutique hotel, for example. Manlio, yeah. Or Masseria here in Puglia, no? Here in Puglia, Masseria, in Sicily, Manlio, typical house also of old tradition. There are, in this way, in these administrative checks, but also a lot of you can imagine an important house or an house in the city center of Rome, where there are a lot of administrative authorities like Sovrintendenza, that you, for example, you want to restore.
Cultural.
Yes, and you want to restore the house, you not allowed to do everything you want.
No, of course.
You need organization, and with the due diligence, you also cover this kind of aspect.
Okay. Here's another question. Apologies if you already asked. Okay, but are the estate agent's fees included in the listed price of the house? This normal way in the US? No, it's not. Usually the selling price shown, at least on Gate-Away, but usually it works like that in Italy. It's without the agency fees. Would you like to add anything to this one, Manlio?
No, on the price, the client paid agency fees that are
on top of that.
Yeah.
On top of that. Might you have a list of bilingual attorneys in the United States? Well, your office, isn't it, Manlio?
Yes.
To provide bilingual attorneys in the United States. You say you are also in Los Angeles.
Yes.
LA and
in Los Angeles and New York. We already have our colleague in New York based there, and soon from January, another colleague in Los Angeles, in California.
Okay. What time span would you recommend between preliminary and final contract?
It depends on situation. Each kind of situation, all the situations are different. Sometimes there is no need also to sign the final contract. The preliminary contract.
Okay.
The preliminary contract. Depends on the situation, what is agreed between the parties and during the negotiation phase.
Yeah, exactly. It is an agreement between the two parties. If you have any needs, let's say I cannot make the final deeds before 6 months' time, then you agree with the other one. But if there is no specific need, you can do that after, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. Is there a minimum time?
Yes, if 2-3 weeks, we suggest to not sign preliminary contract.
Okay. To go directly to the final deed without going through the preliminary contract.
Yeah,
of course.
If 6 or 1 year, you can also have more time. It depends. Also, for example, during 1 year, you signed the preliminary contract in December 2020, and the final deed is December 21.
Okay.
During this time, you could also, it depends also the situation of the agreement with the party. You can also give another deposit or then payment to the owner. It's the
so the preliminary contract is a safety contract between the two parties, especially if you cannot do directly the final deed. I mean, if you have to wait for a certain time, then you do the preliminary contract. But if you can go directly to the final deed because there are no any other needs, you go directly to the notary without going through the preliminary contract.
That also, with the preliminary contract, you cannot get the possession of the house. You can live inside the house with the preliminary contract without the final deed. And at a certain time, in a certain time, you sign the final deed before the notary.
Okay.
But what, as I already said before, if you or the clients of the foreign buyers pay a deposit, an important deposit at the time of the preliminary contract, it's important that what I recommend to sign the preliminary contract in front of a notary.
Okay. Are property price and value the same or not? So cadastral value is normally lower than the asking price. I mean the current market. Yes, of course, but you can.
This is what the normal question that we received. Maybe also Gateway portal, not the same. The cadastral value also less than the market price.
A lot less.
A lot less.
A lot less. There are two completely different values. There is not comparable from the. That's why many get scared because the percentage about the cadastral value on taxes is quite. The number are quite high. They think it's similar to the market value, but it's a lot lower, the cadastral value, isn't it?
Manlio? Yes, absolutely, yes. This is correct.
Okay, this one. Then I don't know if you still have time. We go through another couple of questions, then we close because it's been already more than 1 hour. It was supposed to be only half an hour, but I understand the questions are a lot, and we are happy for that, of course. Are there different taxes for a holiday home versus that is being rented out? Does it make sense to have a company in Italy versus private?
Yes, this is. It also depends on the situation. If the property is rented out for important value of period of months or important value of it's like an hotel, it's not like only one property, we recommend to open a company in Italy that manage all the rental of the property, basically. Because if you have only one, maybe you can pay the taxes as personal as a natural person, and you pay 22% of taxes on the amount that you receive from the rental.
Okay. From the rental income.
Rental income. If you manage one then more properties and above 3, you're required to open a fiscal position to the revenue agency.
Okay.
In this case, we suggest to open also a company that manage the rental of the properties if you have more than one.
Okay. As a first-time buyer in Italy, you have to be resident to pay less taxes? Of course, yeah.
You have to be resident, first-time buyer. This is depends. If you at the moment of the final deed make a declaration that you buy the first home in Italy, you should move the residence within 18 months. In this case, you should move. This is also an important effect on the fiscal status of each person. Because if you move the residence here in Italy, you should pay the taxes here in Italy.
Yeah.
And worldwide, you are income from the taxes. This is to be ready to pay last taxes. At the moment of final deed, you pay less taxes. What we had to check is the fiscal status of each individual. That it could be different, by the way.
Okay. This one, if a person has dual citizenship, are the property taxes fees less or equal to one that is not an Italian citizen?
This is also regarding the residency. If you move the residency, you should pay for the first home purchasing less taxes at the moment of the final deed. That is 4% or 3%, depends of if purchased from a company or from owner individual.
Okay, let's see. Questions are coming like a river flow. It's incredible, and we are very happy. But we cannot reply to them all. I'm really sorry. Okay, does a contract have to be written in Italian if the property is being sold by a US citizen? So you mean if the property is in Italy and a U.S. citizen sells the property to another U.S. citizen, does it to be written in Italian anyway, even if it's done between buyer and seller, both English speaking?
The final deed, is already mentioned, should be only in Italian, required by the law.
Okay, so even if I'm English, you are English, I'm the seller, English seller, you are an English buyer. If you sell or buy a house in Italy, the final deed must be in Italian.
Only in Italian, because the final deed should be registered to the conservatoria that is public registered, only in Italy. Only in Italian, sorry.
Okay, only in Italian. And then, of course, you can have it translated in your own language. That's also mandatory.
Oh, if you are a lawyer, if you have povero fatto nei tuoi friends that can sign before in front of the notary on your behalf. It depends of the situation, but is in Italian.
Okay. There was another question. I cannot find it anymore, which a person was asking your email address. Oh, there it is. There are so many questions, and I lose the... So, okay, there is your website here on the banner going through, but if you can also say your email address and how they can contact you, because there are a lot of people interested.
You would like to my email address?
Yes, if you can say your email address.
Yes, it's Manlio, M like Manlio, point Gervasi at c-legal.it. Okay,
so like your name is written here in the below your picture.
My name only with M.
Okay. Okay, I think we run out of time. 1 hour and nearly 12 minutes. I hope it was very, very useful for you. And if you'd like us to make other live stream like this one with other subjects, we can cover a lot of legal subjects. And also, I read a lot of questions about mortgages, and it can be also useful about talking and financing a property. There are a lot of subjects that we can cover. And if you are happy with our Prime live stream in Facebook, please let us know. Give us a feedback. Tell us everything that you were expecting that you didn't receive, or what you liked and what you didn't like. Give us a feedback, because we can improve every time with experience. Manlio, thank you very much for giving your disposal.
Provide some useful information to Gate-Away portal also of the Facebook users and your users.
Okay. Okay. You can also comment the blog post that we wrote along with Manlio about the power of attorney. If you want if you have specific questions, I'm sure Manlio won't mind replying on the blog comments and everything. Okay.
Or me or someone on my behalf.
Okay, of course. Give the power of attorney to reply the comments. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for being here. It's been a very pleasure. Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.